Welcome back to Seekistan and welcome back to the Monday news show. So last week you might have noticed an absence of the news show, and that was because it was a bank holiday in Seekistan and coincidentally Ireland, which have no connections to each other, but it just so happened that we both had a bank holiday for Halloween. Funny enough, Halloween is not an American holiday. To let everyone know, it's actually an Irish holiday originally. Hauna, night of it's kind of when the underworld was closest to the world of the living, and that's when ancient Irish people believed that demons and ghosts and stuff would come from the underworld, from certain places around Ireland, and take kids away and eat them and stuff. So people wore masks to dress up to confuse the demons.
No way.
Yeah, and
very interesting.
Some ceremonies around fires and stuff, and then we got destroyed by the Catholic Church. That was way more interesting than mass.
Way more interesting
than mass.
The pagans had it sorted, didn't they?
They fucking did. Way more interesting. Everyone probably naked as well. Anyway, today's news show is starting with the strongest weightlifter of all time.
You can call him the GOAT.
The GOAT. Certainly the best super heavyweight of all time. Lasha Talakatsi. He's gearing up. I'm going to use that a few more times during the show. So if you didn't laugh now, you can laugh in the future. Gearing up for Worlds, which is in only a few weeks away, which I'm very excited about because this is the first Olympic qualification event. And here he's squatting 300 kilos for a double.
I'm not going to lie, Worlds feels like it's sneaking up on me this year.
No, I get you. Yeah, I do.
It just is like, geez, December's very close. These are very nice squats.
Mm-hmm.
You've spoken a lot about Lasha's squats always being fast or never looking super heavy, and these kind of fall into that bracket of just pedestrian. Like he doesn't have to put any major effort in, it appears that he puts no major effort in. That super wide kind of lax grip on the outside of the barbell. They're very nice.
Characteristic of Lasha. Vintage Lasha, you might say.
Vintage Lasha.
Old school Lasha.
Textbook Lasha.
So I've talked to Anton recently about the Georgian system, the difference between the Georgian system and the Ukrainian system. And very interestingly, the Georgian system is very similar, almost essentially the same as the Romanian system, which is similar to a couple of other systems produced around that kind of those areas, kind of Eastern European, some of the kind of Central Asian countries, very similar influences. So it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, big lifts, Friday maximum, Tuesdays and Thursdays not as much training, Saturdays just not as big as well. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are the main days. There's plenty of variation in there. So like Mondays, like no foot snatch or no hook grip snatch, or frequently feature stuff like that in the program. But then Fridays like maximum snatch and clean and jerk 90% to 100%, and it might be heavy squat after. And Lasha, Anton said Lasha was very good at hitting more each week, so more and more each week.
I suppose you don't get to be the best without like training as if you're the best
and getting better each week. Yeah. And characteristically improving like the best. So Lasha with 300 for double, and then we also have just some clean and jerks from him. His clean is looking a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think his clean can ever look that good at being the size he is. I just don't think it's ever.
He makes it look good.
No, it's like the bar moves fast.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'll ever have a clean like Ilya.
No.
He's never going to have that.
I think the legs are just too big.
Too long?
Too long, like, yeah.
Yeah.
That first pull is just so long.
It actually is.
Like, he never gets out over the barbell because his legs are so long.
It's a shame we don't know how well-rounded a lifter he is. If we had other people pushing him harder in the clean and jerk, it'd be interesting to see what he would clean and jerk, you know. If we had someone like Razazadeh or Hosen Razazadeh clean and jerking with him, it'd be interesting to see what he'd clean and jerk if he was forced to, you know.
Yeah, just more competition in general. Like if he just had more super heavies very close to him.
But how often though, you don't really get that in any sport where you have loads of different people, like loads of the greatest of all time at the same time. You just don't get it. Like, it's a reason they're once in a kind of a generation, you know.
The greatest of all time.
The GO80s.
The GO80s. I'm not gonna lie, I actually do like his clean.
Only because you see yourself in it, like?
Because I see the dangly legs. I do like his clean.
You see the laboured first pull. The uber low contact point.
I just know it shouldn't look that good, and he makes it look athletic, which I don't understand how he does it.
Is it the relatively low contact point? Is it?
Is it that it looks like he shouldn't be good at cleaning, but he is?
Stop me when you see yourself in the clean.
There
we go. Is it the massively overpulling lighter weights? You tell me when now. I'll stop. We can go on. Like.
I feel like this could go on for too long.
Right, moving on. We have skinny Tatiana Karashina clean jerking a 150. Very skinny.
and just dropped way down.
I'm not really sure why she moved down. Maybe she just wanted to. I can't imagine. It's just not pleasant being that heavy, I'd say, for anyone.
No.
I'm not really sure why she did it, but it's obviously doing very well for her. Obviously, her weights are down a lot. Rumoured, we were told this by a very reputable source, that she did 170, 210 in training. So I don't know what you make of that.
It is outrageous.
Yeah.
I'd believe the source as well.
Because her competition lifts are very close to that. She did like 155, 190 or 190 something, 93 I think in competition. So it makes sense that we see plenty of athletes doing way more in training, you know. So
yeah,
and the source would definitely
know,
would be in the know. His international coach.
Very good jerk here, I think.
Classic Russian jerk.
Yeah,
vintage Russian jerk.
Yeah, it's
textbook Russian jerk.
That's the standout of this lift for me. Like obviously the clean doesn't look difficult, but she stood up much heavier cleans and far easier than that, you know.
Yeah.
But the jerk still looks perfect.
I'd be very interested to see what the weight loss progress was like, how fast it happened, and what she kind of did and how hard it was for her, you know, because going from a super heavy down to a lighter weight class is obviously very difficult for anyone because it's quite a bit of weight to lose. But I wonder, was it a case, was she trying really hard to maintain herself in that upper weight class and then just was like, oh, I don't need to try anymore and it'll just come off quite easily, assuming she was training as consistently. But she's obviously a world class athlete, so I assume she was just able to get her shit together. And
what I'd really like to see is if in the initial phases of dropping down, her weights dropped immediately, like the snatching, clean and jerk.
I would imagine.
And then built back up slowly, or was it a kind of slow decay?
Yeah, I'd like to see what weight she was here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see what she's still squatting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because she's notorious for you squat at least 250 or more. Now we got probably one of the most popular Chinese weightlifters with the young folk, Tian.
On the internet.
Here's a great 180 power clean.
Oh my god.
These power cleans are so good.
So nice.
It just gets into these hip pockets so well, you know. Not that you need that for the clean, but when you do for power cleans.
I'm not going to lie, when I look at Tian Tao's clean, I don't see too much of myself in it.
You know what a sign of a really good power clean is? When your head goes like this. So we'll just see if everyone vibrates in tandem, if the barbell and your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, if everything goes like that, it's a sign of a good power clean. So we'll just watch this 180 again. Heavy vibration. Yeah.
And even the hair going, you know.
Yeah, that's
a great power clean.
We shouldn't be asking is it power or not. It should be head vibration or not.
Yeah.
You know, if like that's a real sign.
Are you arcing from the inner soul?
Like, did you meet that bar with such aggression, such tenacity that the bar in your head are shaking in tandem? That's what you need to know. Such a nice power clean.
It's so nice.
It's so strange that he makes that really long torso work so well. For cleans.
Yeah.
You just,
by God, does he what?
I'd almost say he shouldn't be doing that.
I'm almost saying its torso is too long.
Yeah, and here he is doing that.
Yeah.
It does help to have a 320 squat. No, not 320. At least 310 or more. 300 for a rep squat. Jeez, he's looking a lot leaner again.
Yeah.
Apparently when he moved up weight class, he said he did not like it. He said it didn't like being kind of soft.
A lot of athletes don't like that.
No.
They don't like that feeling of being heavier, that feeling of being slow.
Yeah. You didn't mind that, did you? Moving on. Speaking of athletes who are not slow, so this is Igor Klimanov's coach back in 1999 with the most Russian 90 snatch I've ever seen.
I'm just going to say that if I could choose a technique, you know, if we were in a PlayStation game and you got to choose like, oh, I want to have like this kind of weightlifting shoes. If I had technique like this, or if technique like this was available, even if it was a paid for add-on that you'd have to get, you know, this is the technique I'd want.
This is
barest of contact.
Oh, but the extension so vertical, the turnover so close. It's so smooth, not overly fast. He's fast, but the barbell is very constantly accelerating.
Yeah.
It's so mundane. It's so casual. It's in, I think that's Tagnarok Training Center.
It's everything about it is perfect.
He's kind of vibrating in the way all the 90s Russian weightlifters did for some reason. Some of the stimulants, I imagine, were just too much. It's just, you can't buy this anymore. You can't buy this kind of technique. Nobody can lift like this anymore.
No, they're all sold out and they're not getting any more.
They are old school edition.
Yeah.
You just can't get technique like this.
No.
No one left alive knows how to teach this technique.
No.
Maybe gravity.
Because they all died of heart attacks and strokes.
He's still alive and he's very jacked.
No, it's phenomenal. I love this technique.
Yeah. No one knows how to teach this anymore.
No.
Now, speaking of techniques, I also really like. Here's Sergio Macida, and now I really like what the Italians are doing with weightlifting.
Yeah.
Which is usual.
The Italians are sticking to just sticking to a thing of we have to be fast under the bar.
And they're doing it.
And they're not doing anything else. Now, they're getting big and strong and fast as well. But, by God, are they getting fast under the bar.
I'd actually disagree with that. They're not getting as big or strong. Well, except for Nino, but no one else is getting very strong. They're just getting... Everyone else just seems to be putting all of their skill points into fast.
In the speed bucket.
Yeah. Lower back and upper back integrity from really heavy snatch deadlifts and then just fast as possible.
We have heard as well that some of the other Italian power sports are doing very well as well.
Moving on. Lastly, of our weightlifting segment of today's new show, I just wanted to... This is literally put up 7 hours ago. This is Lou Zhaojun just doing a 220 kilo snatch grip deadlift, and he's looking beefy, Lou Zhaojun. He's looking thick.
Is this the other point you were going to talk about, getting geared up for Worlds?
Oh, well, sorry, actually, yeah. Let's. He's getting geared up for Worlds as well. So it's very interesting. So I think the interesting thing I want to talk about today with Lou's the reason he's in here. So obviously 220 snatch grip deadlift doesn't really mean anything for weightlifting, but if you watch like his YouTube videos in his recovery, or if you like watch Seb's video, did a reaction to his progress so far, and if you look at the comments, which I always do, it's funny how many people are talking about the use of performance enhancing drugs, you know, and was it not a thing before? Like,
yeah,
it's so interesting how now for people it's really blatant, and it's like I think a lot of people really didn't think he used gear before, and now it's just very obvious to them, and I don't know why, because it's kind of, some people seem almost offended by it. Have we not been saying this for years?
We have been saying it for years, Gary.
Yeah.
We've also been saying that if you think he could possibly be clean and do what he was doing, you're just in a different stratosphere.
But people really, I genuinely think a lot of people did think that, you know?
Yeah.
Now I think
it's funny how losing a lot of weight and then getting back in shape is the thing that would convince them.
I think as well there's a small cohort of those people who are really upset by it, that they knew he was. They feel vindicated now, you know, and they knew he was on year before, and they were like, there were no doubt about it, and now that it's obvious to everyone, they're like, yeah. I think the problem with this, right, is that Lou got so far out of shape that it's given people a false impression that the baseline for talent for elite level athletes is much closer to them than it actually is.
No.
But he just got so far out of shape and did so little training, and you saw a few weeks where normally you'd never see those from any athlete, where he just got massively back into shape. You know, if we saw, they could have easily just shown us this, you know, and you'd be like, oh, Lou just took a year off and he's still in class shape, you know, and you'd think nothing of it.
No, literally, if they hadn't posted those videos from like September and October, nobody'd know the wiser. Like, nobody'd be any the wiser. And most athletes will come out of shape, maybe not get that far out of shape when they're that far into their season or into their career even. But most athletes do get terribly, terribly, terribly out of shape and then get back in shape quite fast. But it's quite blatant at the moment.
Yeah, and weightlifting is one of the most egregious or most easiest to see when it comes to getting out of shape, you know, because you're not really going to see a sprinter get super out of shape because you can't really visually see the difference between their 10.5 second or to 9.5 second 100 meters or something, or you know, you're not going to see it as much with other kind of sports like rugby or things like that. Unless you see the visual changes, you don't see the performance as much. But when you see weightlifting, you just see number on the bar, no number on the bar.
It's just so objective.
Yeah.
Like, even if you had the data from like a football player or a rugby player in the gym, there'd be so much variance even in that data if it was like power output on a bike or if it was the speed of a barbell. But in weightlifting, just that number is just so blatantly obvious, you know.
That 130 looks like his old one snatches do already. It's so impressive. Like, he's 41, is it? Something like that.
Is he that old?
I think he's 41, yeah. Which is funny when you say it's old, but it's old
for
weightlifting.
For
no,
weightlifting,
I know what you mean.
yeah.
But he looks in great shape.
Like, especially if you went back 5 or 10 years, the average age for people setting world records would have been in their very, very, very early 20s.
Shortly after getting popped in.
Yeah.
You know.
No, they would have already been popped at 17 or 18 and they take their little training holiday. They get to take as many drugs they want. And then they come back and beat the world record.
The classic training holiday.
Yeah.
Now, moving on. The end of our weightlifting and on to our strength sports section. Primarily, we were looking at Hafthor Bjornsson is making his way back to strongman and powerlifting. So he's going competing in powerlifting, and he set a world record in the strongman event of that kettlebell over the bar. Not sure if anyone.
Just one thing to note.
Yes.
Hafthor did set a record for kettlebell over the bar. And it's like 58 pound or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you're actually sitting in a new studio with somebody who won the came third in the Carsavine sheaf throwing, which is a weight going over the bar.
Holy shit!
With a pike.
Sorry. Not to interrupt your fake world record, but I didn't. Hafthor just nearly died.
What?
Watch this again. Holy shit!
Sorry for that brief interruption.
So there's 340. Still has his abs. Still in great shape. It's 340 kilo squat, as if I didn't introduce yet. He's round my 03. He's terrible shoe, by the way. Knee wraps on.
It's definitely the shoe's fault.
Whatever happens here. So I thought he just only a single. Man, attention span. Come on. Yeah, go on.
When you're doing 340 and you're unracking from him, I suppose he is competing in powerlifting, so that's why he's walking it out.
Yeah, I assume probably the IPF, I suppose. So they hit a double, very casual double. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. That's 340 as well. Like 340 could hurt you.
Yeah.
Scary
business. Risky biscuits.
Nothing. The only thing equivalent to missing the rack when you confidently thought you've made the rack is when you're walking outside in the dark and you think there was a step and then you go to step into it, but there's no step.
Oh my god, walking up to this top stairs and thinking there's another step and your foot just misses it. Oh my god.
So here's a 340 kilo deadlift as well. So he said soon we'll be doing 400 again on the grip, whatever that means, and then he'll be doing 440 plus strongman deadlift
with straps.
Yeah.
So 400 without straps.
Yeah, I know, I was just joking about the use of language.
He's looking, it says a lot about the sheer length of Hafthor that he looks very skinny and he's probably 140 kilos.
Yeah, I'd love to know exactly what weight he's at the moment. He looks taller now that he's skinnier.
Yeah.
He's giving me that kind of...
He looks very lean in that squat video.
Oh, super lean. I mean, he genuinely has abs. He looks like he's like 12-ish% body fat.
Yeah.
So he said he might come back to strongman, but I just can't see him going back up to 200 kilos. He can't go back to fat face again, you know?
No.
Surely not. Like, it just wouldn't be worth it health-wise.
Absolutely not. I think as well the way he was speaking, obviously you're talking about like a rogue sponsored athlete who's the fact that he's still involved in strongman but just doing the kind of exhibition and showcase pieces means a lot for him maintaining that kind of sponsorship, maintaining that kind of foot in the strongman world, you know. Like he could conceivably say at this body weight stay in this good a shape for a long time and still be in the strongman world but not actually competing in World's Strongest Man. Whereas now if he was to go back up, I think the implications are just far too great.
Yeah, he kind of said he was like, he said he was 32 and he said he didn't want to do any boxing. I hope that was for the head injury reasons, and I imagine it was. And he just kind of like needs more, you know. He still has potentially another 10 plus years of prime athletic capability, especially in strength and power sports like that, if he's, you know, untested and stuff. So why not use it?
Is that why you're saying he'd compete in the IPF?
It was. I'm glad someone picked up on that. Now, moving on to my favourite powerlifter of all time.
Yes.
Benedict Magnussen. He is the funniest person. He's so fucking funny. Benny is back training. It's so hard to tell if Benny is ever joking. He's the Theo Von of powerlifters. He is so fucking strong. I don't know. I suppose...
Is he back competing?
Well, he said he's first day back of New Beginnings. Alex, our editor, actually awarded me this because I hadn't seen it. So he's just back doing some training. Benny is... I just can't...
He's a big strong man.
He's so funny. Like, he is just... It's so hard to know if he's joking. It's funnier still because I don't know if he's joking some of the times.
Yeah.
So Benedict is back training. Some very
light
deadlifts. Some back and stuff. Well, there's like... But this is his... Now, this deadlift, okay? So this 1015 deadlift was huge. Like, it still is huge, obviously. It was like, 11 years ago now. So, very famous video at the time. Some people now would be like, oh, the bar was super whippy and the plates are pretty big or whatever, but...
no, leave it off.
Look
yeah.
But it was...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, that's so impressive.
Yeah. He was the first person doing a lot of these kind of...
Yeah.
I think he was the first 1,000+ pound deadlifter. I can't remember. If someone knows who was the first 1,000+ pound deadlifter, let me know. But I think Benny was one of them. Now, he's returned to training a few times since and not really done anything. So I wonder if he... I don't know. I hope it's true. I hope it's World's Strongest Smile.
Please make it true.
Now, just to finish the new show, did you have anything else to say about Benny?
No.
You were happy?
I'm happy.
I hope he's back. So on the subject of rugby, Ireland beat the Springboks.
Just in case you didn't notice.
Just in case.
New South Africa.
South Africa. And as usual, South African fans are saying it was the ref. As usual.
It's mad that they always get the worst ref.
They always get them, yeah.
Best ranked team in the world.
They get the worst ref?
They get the worst ref every time.
Don't seem to get the worst ref when they won the World Cup, though.
No.
It was so strange, isn't it?
So strange.
Very lucky. Very lucky didn't get it then.
Yeah.
But on the subject of rugby, segue into our little fight sports section.
Go on.
Sonny B. Williams, former All Black for New Zealand, moved over from rugby league to rugby union, played for New Zealand for about 9 or 10 years. Phenomenal rugby player. 6'4", 100 and something plus kilos.
Just mountain of a man.
Yeah, great rugby career.
He is he's the pinnacle of what an athlete could be.
Could be.
If you're sitting, it's November, and you're sitting in a junior rugby training changing room. It's wet outside. People are kind of being slow putting their boots on. Nobody's really chatting too much because everyone's like, oh, I have to go out there soon. You just hear the coach blowing the whistle to get everyone to come out. And then Sonny Bill Williams walked in. You're like, we're sorted. The season's done. We're sorted. Everyone, let's go training because it's about to be great.
So Sonny B is the New Zealand boxing heavyweight champion. Recently fought Marc Hunt. Yes, that Marc Hunt from UFC in a boxing match and got knocked the fuck out. It's his kind of pro debut from what I know. I think everyone was kind of thinking that this would be a reasonable intro.
Oh no, he's had other pro fights. But I think this was just more of the
biggest one. I thought
the biggest one.
I thought he'd only had amateur fights so far. I didn't realize he had other pro fights.
I know in his first pro fight, he fought a guy who was just. Have you ever seen that fight? The guy looks like he'd never trained.
Yeah, I saw that fight. Yeah.
And then he's going against Sonny Bill Williams.
So see that there.
Yeah,
that
is a. Oh God, that's getting knocked out while still standing up.
Marc Hunt doesn't physically appear to be in the best shape. Now Marc Hunt never looked in great shape, but Sonny.
Neither does Tyson Fury though.
Yeah.
You know?
What the hell? Thanks for watching, guys.